Welcome to day 2 of following Alex Hormozi's advice until I reach now my first $10, as yesterday, day 1, I broke $1. This is going to be quite a challenge because there is so much I need to figure out as I'm also documenting the journey, which is a whole nother challenge in itself, and making sure that I get yesterday's video out at least within 48 hours through the production line. This morning, I started the day as Alex would, which is devoting his first 4 hours to promoting and marketing and producing content, which I had to start with baby steps. So it wasn't 4 hours, it wasn't even 40 minutes, it was 4 minutes just to sit there and get into the routine of starting the day with work. And more specifically, although I didn't do this, I need to start doing this, is focusing on not just immediately replying back to the inbox, which does more of the nurturing of the leads that we already have, but rather creating content, top of funnel stuff to get more brand awareness. And for that, I need to have a sharper mind routine, a format in which the first thing in the morning I can start producing content and focus on telling the story of my brand and mission and the tribe of people that I'm trying to attract. So let's see how the next day on this adventure goes, but I'm growing more mindful of the way that Alex would think. Something I've decided about how I'm going to make this money on this challenge is that it will be extremely different than how I currently make money, which is typically through the crypto space of high risk, high reward. And while that is great and extremely volatile, I want something that I'm a lot more in control of, that is even more so skill-based. Of course, everything is skill-based. So that is why I'm deciding that money for this challenge of $1 to $10 to $100 to $1,000 all the way up to who knows what amount will be based on these 5 pillars. 1 is personal branding, 2 is coaching / mentorship, 3 is communities, 4 is content creation, 5 is possibly creating my own course of some kind, which I never have. So these are completely different directions of charging for services that I directly get paid for, not a middle service. So that is going to be quite a challenge, as I've not really earned in that way. So I'm up to see how far I can get, and that actually will make it so that I have to develop in these areas as opposed to just leaning in on an industry that I can't really rest my future on. And I feel that I need to branch out into something that is a lot more within my control. Just as I continuously say, the bird that sits on a shaky branch doesn't have confidence in the branch, but in its own wings. And this is me developing my own wings. In the last 24 hours or less that I have taken on this challenge to get into the Mozi mode of trying to build myself through a model that has already been proven, a model of just doing what Alex does in terms of his commitment to his work and his philosophies of how to approach life through building ourselves and building our reps and work ethic. I'm starting to realize some of the areas where I'm lacking. For example, I do feel busy most of the day, but it is because I just glance at my phone to respond to these sorts of surface level things, and I don't get a chance to do deep work that I just saw in another short video. He talks about his productivity routine being turning off all like messaging apps, including social platforms and emails and messaging platforms, and then diving into this kind of blinders mode where he's turned off the audios in his immediate environment, the visual stimulations. And when I think about my work environment, it is rather quite distracting. It is full of cats and the doors are open and there's just always something that I need to adjust here and there. And I'm not doing deep concentrated work. And if I could unlock that, if we could all unlock that, no matter what it is that we're doing right now, we would get greater output. And those are some of the key non-technical principles to start implementing today. It is currently 6:56 p.m. and we are heading to dinner. It has not been a productive second day of the challenge, which there's still a few more hours. I've gotten to have a brief conversation with Claude in the midst of our haphazardous day of activities, from late breakfast to wandering around the lobby to help my wife make her first YouTube short, which I'm very proud of her for stepping into that role as we're trying to kind of explore this new digital landscape together. And then coming back to get changed for a workout, hit legs, and then wandered, actually had tea time and something to eat, and then wandered around the beaches, went to the pool for like 30 plus minutes and came back and showered and got ready for dinner. In the midst of that, I managed to have a short conversation with Claude, explaining to her that now I'm moving to the 10-day or $10 challenge and how to go about creating a value exchange of $10. And of the many different options that she suggested, one of them I liked, which was to give someone a one-on-one on Zoom live feedback of their social media from the outside perspective. As a consumer, would I be interested in asking for more information and getting to know what they do and be interested in their offer, as I would get to give them an outside perspective and have that conversation, as opposed to just sending them a PDF for that dollar value. Now, I could charge two people $5, but I'm going to see how far I can improve myself as both the adder of value, as well as someone who needs to walk the walk to have the know-how to level up in this, like, being able to consult and give feedback. So that is where I am so far. Let's see if this is the closing of the day or night, or if there will be more as we approach 7 p.m. to make something that maybe Alex would be at least say that it was a good or decent or acceptable second day, which I don't think he would, because I am not also as impressed. There was no isolated time of deep work, just a lot of surface level stuff. But on this journey, we'll have days like this. I just want to reduce them, be more mindful of them, and work towards improving them. I did get from my editor the first video that I did with my wife to explain the idea of this challenge, which I'm looking to post today. That's a 14-minute and 56-second video. So creating content around this is also a part of also like making this benchmarks of earnings, because I want to pave the path for someone else, you, on your own journey, wherever you may be, to show you behind the scenes of what it took, even on such days like today. So with that, I'll let you know if I see you again today, or if not, then we begin tomorrow on the mission of getting to our first $10.